Let's talk about the story of one of the boldest, most controversial, and maybe most resilient investors of our time. This is a story about a man who has made and lost fortunes on a scale that is just almost impossible to wrap your head around. Just take a second and look at that number, $70 billion. And that wasn't a company's loss, nope. That was the personal wealth one man watched get completely wiped out during the dot-com crash. At the time, it was a world record nobody ever wanted to hold.
So that's really the question, isn't it? If you flew that close to the sun and got burned that badly, what would you even do next? Do you just give up? Go hide? Or do you somehow find a way to go even bigger?
Well, this is the story of that man, Masayoshi Son, the founder of SoftBank. His journey is a wild ride of extreme risk-taking, of absolutely spectacular failure, and somehow even more spectacular comebacks. It's all driven by this deep core belief that you have to bet aggressively on the future. And it all really starts with his first huge test, what we're going to call his first crucible moment, the absolutely catastrophic dot-com crash back in 2000. I mean, just look at that drop. It's staggering. In early 2000, for a very brief moment, Son was actually richer than Bill Gates. But then, the tech bubble burst. SoftBank's stock collapsed by over 99%. Let that sink in. 99%. The company was basically on the brink of bankruptcy, and Son's historic fortune had completely vanished. And that's exactly what this was, a crucible moment. It's one of those severe trials that either forges you or completely breaks you. For Masayoshi Son, this was the moment that should have ended his career. But, well, it didn't. Instead, it actually set the stage for one of the greatest comeback bets in the history of investing. This is where the story of his first rebirth really begins. So here's the crazy part. Look at this contrast. On one side, you've got a $70 billion loss, total, utter devastation. And on the other side, his response. It wasn't to hide, it was to make another bet. This time, just $20 million on a tiny, pretty much unknown Chinese e-commerce startup called Alibaba. And that $20 million bet, made from the absolute ashes of his failure, became the cornerstone of his revival. That small investment grew into a stake worth well over $100 billion at its peak. It single-handedly proved his entire investment philosophy right. Okay, so the Alibaba success was legendary. It gave Son not just a ton of money, but this massive conviction to bet even bigger. But you know what they say, history has a funny way of rhyming. He was about to face his second great crucible, one that would once again push SoftBank right to the edge. He created the Vision Fund, which was basically a $100 billion war chest, designed to make these colossal bets, we're talking $100 million or more, on what he thought were the next generation of tech giants. And his biggest, most infamous bet was on a company called WeWork. SoftBank poured over $10 billion into WeWork, and that pushed its private valuation, its theoretical worth before it goes public, to an astronomical $47 billion. But when the company tried to go public, to sell shares to you and me, the whole house of cards just collapsed. The public market valuation was a tiny, tiny fraction of that private fantasy. And it wasn't just bad luck or bad timing. When people actually looked under the hood, oh man, it was a mess. They were losing staggering amounts of money. There were serious governance problems, like the founder having way too much control and just a really controversial leadership style. It all came to a head in a spectacularly failed IPO, a total textbook case of hype over substance. The fallout was immense. The WeWork disaster, plus a broader tech downturn, led the Vision Fund to a record-breaking loss of $32 billion in a single year. It was like the dot-com crash all over again. Only this time, it was Son's own creation, the Vision Fund, that was bleeding out. So what do you do when your grand vision implodes for a second time? Well, once again, instead of folding, Son adapted. He shifted his strategy to learn lessons from being right there on the edge of disaster. He publicly announced that SoftBank was entering defense mode. So what did that mean? Well, for one, it meant selling off valuable assets, including parts of that legendary Alibaba stake, just to get cash in the bank. It meant hitting the brakes on new investments. And most importantly, it meant refocusing the entire company around what he sees as the next huge technological shift: artificial intelligence.
And yet, even in defense mode, his core philosophy just shines right through. This quote, it says everything. The strategy might have gotten more cautious for a bit, but the ambition, that belief in making massive, world-changing bets, that never went away.
So after this incredible roller coaster, what can we take away? First, it's okay to embrace big bets, but you have to do it with vigilance. A great story can't cover up bad numbers. Second, resilience is an absolute superpower. The ability to survive a 99% wipeout and get back in the game is everything. And finally, you have to be willing to adapt your strategy when the world tells you you're wrong. Which leaves us with this one final huge question. Masayoshi Son is now betting the entire future of SoftBank on the AI revolution. After 2 historic crashes and 2 legendary comebacks, is this third act going to be his ultimate masterpiece? Or will the man who always thinks big finally make a bet that's just too big to survive? The whole world is watching.
Subscribe for more content.